So I was really excited. You know, I am a MacBook fan. I like the thin and light MacBook. And I got very excited about the idea of a thin and light MacBook style computer from other manufacturers. When I saw the ad for this, and maybe I showed the video of it, and HP did a real Apple style ad with its pouring melted copper.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That was...
And they claim it's the thinnest laptop made. This is 10.4 millimeters. That's a little deceptive because like all of these new things, it's tapered. That's 10.4 millimeters, but as you get into the middle, it gets thicker. And in fact, it is a little bit thicker by a millimeter than a MacBook. That's not too bad. It's still very thin. 2.5 pounds is a little heavier than a MacBook, but you get a larger screen. This is a 13-inch 1080p IPS LCD screen. It's actually a gorgeous looking screen. Not touch, which is for Windows 10 a little surprising, but frankly, I don't mind that. Touch screens get a little fingerprinty. I use it occasionally on a laptop. I could live with this not being touch. It does have a really superb keyboard. In fact, better than the MacBook's keyboard. Apple made some sacrifices. You know, when you're this thin, you're not going to have a lot of key travel, and Apple decided to make it make a blessing out of that curse by doing a whole new key spring design that is very firm and holds it. And I find it actually hard to type accurately on a MacBook.
I'm not a big fan of the MacBook.
It feels like your fingers are bouncing off. This one is the old traditional style, kind of wobbly key springs, but there's more travel, and actually it's very usable. Also, another thing that a lot of Windows laptops get wrong, the trackpad. This is a glass trackpad, much like Apple's, and it feels great and it works great and it's very responsive. So I give it, 2 thumbs up in terms of the, or 2 index fingers up in terms of the keyboard and the trackpad. Really done a nice job with that. The other thing I found interesting, Apple kind of implied that, well, it's so thin, we can only have one Type-C connector. You couldn't have 2 on here. So when I saw that HP put 3, count them, 3 on the back of their this is the HP Spectre 13T, by the way. It's kind of hard to figure out because they've made Spectre 13Ts before. So you can't
the latest.
It's the late. I don't know what, get the one that looks like it's made out of copper. But there are 3 ports on here. All 3 of them are Type-C. I'm a big fan, as I'm sure you are, of the Type-C connector, right? And because you have a Robin, we all have now lots of these Type-C cables around. On the MacBook and the Chromebook Pixel, both of which use Type-C power adapters, you can plug any Type-C power brick, even one for your phone, into there. It won't charge very fast, but at least it'll charge a little bit. And I thought, well, that's going to be great. And because I have 3, all 3 of which can be used to charge, I've got real flexibility. And here's the best part. This is running the new Skylake processors from Intel. Those Skylake processors support Thunderbolt 3, 40 gigabits per second. Apple, unaccountably, in their updated MacBook, didn't take advantage of that. There's still Thunderbolt 2. But these 2 ports are Thunderbolt 3 ports. And I've tried it with my Akitio Thunderbolt 3, and it's amazing throughput. All of the 40 gigabits really makes it great. These are also, as with most Type-C connectors, multi-use. So you can power, you can charge a phone from it, you can charge into it. I mean, that's very flexible. You could drive a monitor through it as well. I mean, the Type-C really is a great connector. But here's the one. So in every respect, this is nice. If you want a Windows 10 laptop, it's light, it's very executive. I like these kind of barrel hinges. They're kind of weird looking. They're not functionally significant, but they're pretty. Admittedly, and HP even said this, all this chrome on here is just a fingerprint magnet. And they said, yeah, we know, but what are you going to do? It looks great. You just wipe it off a lot. This is, I think, aimed at an executive.
It's the luxe kind of approach to design.
But it's pretty, isn't it?
It's nice.
And it's so light. I mean, it really is. So here's the one negative that just drives me nuts, and I wish HP had done something about this. So here's the Type-C dongle that comes from HP, and I can put it in any of these 3 Type-C ports and it'll charge it. But put your Mac dongle in there, put your Pixel dongle in there, put any other Type-C charger, HP says, sorry, wrong charger.
It's a proprietary charger.
They have put circuitry into their charger, even though it's a non-proprietary connector, to keep it proprietary. That's something that frosts me.
Why would they do that?
Because they make $90 every time you buy another charger.
So it comes with one.
With one, and if you wanted to buy a second, you'd have to get it from HP. And I was hoping that I could bring this home, charge it with my Pixel charger, bring it to work, charge it here. No. And you know, it's not the end of the world, and yet it's enough for me to ding them because there's just it's this thing we're talking about where it's not customer first. It's a little bit about greed, if you ask me.
And honestly, at $90 for another charger, is that really going to make their quarterly sales? You know,
no, right. They could do the right thing and give users what they want. They may have an excuse like, well, if you used a non-HP charger, you could break it or something like that. But Apple didn't do that. If anybody was, you know, nanny protectionist, it would be Apple. They didn't do that. Pixel, Google didn't do it. I think the Type-C standard is well enough understood that it can be used to charge.
In their defense, and I know very little about this, there was that hubbub.
Right. So Benson Leung, the Google engineer who was testing all the Type-C cables, but that was a very specific situation going from the old USB connector to a new Type-C connector. And it was, for instance, let's say I wanted to charge a phone from my MacBook. If you had a bad cable, you could hurt the MacBook by connecting it to something that drew too much power. That's not what we're talking about here. This is a power charger. That's not the risk. So, and they still let you charge your phone with a bad USB Type-C cable if you want.
They're not stopping you from doing that.
They didn't stop that. So that's not, you know, I thought too, maybe that's the reason. I can't, you know, I asked Paul Thurrott, he's going to ask HP maybe, and if they say, oh, if they give me a good rationale, okay, I'll take it back. So on the pros and cons, I mean, the thinness and lightweightness are great. This is comparable to MacBook with an even bigger screen, and I think in some respects a better screen. It's not Retina, it's 1080p, but I don't mind not having a Retina screen. That confuses a lot of software with the pixel doubling and all of that. This works great. 1080p is plenty. I don't know when we got so crazy
especially at that size.
1440 and all that. Yeah, and it's light. Here, go ahead and feel it. It feels good. It looks good.
Actually.
I think it's something you'd be proud to carry. So in every respect, it's got a great keyboard. It's got a great trackpad. The negatives, there's no touch. That's not so bad. And that weird thing that you have to use their proprietary charger. When you put a non-proprietary, when you put an open port on here, you just, I think you're setting up an expectation this is going to be a standard. And I'd like to see that. We've finally got to that point on phones where you don't have to buy a proprietary charger for a phone.
The word universal. Should be universal.
All laptops. And, you know, Dell and everybody else, they have their proprietary charger. But I was just hoping, even Apple does, I was just hoping that just for once that they'd follow in the lines of the MacBook and the Pixel C and put a non-proprietary universal charger on here, and they didn't. So buy or don't buy, well, I'm not a big Windows 10 fan, but if you need a Windows 10 laptop that is pretty, light, functional, I think this is excellent. You know, I'll show you another reason why we're disappointed. This is we bought, you know, John went out and bought this. This is an Anchor adapter. You know, this would work great on an Apple MacBook because it has a Type-C on this end. And then on this side, it's got a full HDMI out. We were just using that. It's got two USB 3.1 adapters. That's got all the throughput. And then it's got a Type-C. And the idea is this is to be a pass-through. You'd put your HP adapter into here. You'd connect it to your HP. Now I've got a docking port. I could do all that stuff. It doesn't work. Even if you use the HP adapter and plug it into here, it doesn't work. You have to put this in a separate port.
Does HP sell a dongle like that?
Oh, I bet they do.
Yeah, probably.
I bet they do. A pass-through dongle that'll because they've obviously put some chip in there that says, "Hey, I'm an official HP product." Anyway, you know, I guess I shouldn't really say I'm gonna make it a do not buy just because of that one thing. As long as you know what you're getting. Yeah, there it is. There's your special adapter. As long as you know what you're getting into, I think this is a definite buy. It's a beautiful laptop. HP, to their credit, did not load it up with crapware. That's often a problem on Windows PCs. There's Norton, easy to uninstall. Not Norton, I'm sorry, McAfee antivirus, easy to install. I installed it immediately. HP has they put LoJack on here. That's in the firmware. Didn't worry about that so much. And I think there's an HP updater. I took most of it off. It was all uninstalled. There's one other note, and this is to be determined. I've been trying to put Linux on here. And I have not been able to yet. I think it's brand new and it's highly proprietary. So don't buy it for a Linux laptop, at least not yet. Wait till whatever, you know, the drivers, non-free drivers or whatever.
Recommended updates on, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, and it's Windows 10. It's Windows 10. Don't put out Windows 7 on here.
No.
All right, a definite recommend, a definite buy for the HP. Oh, and price-wise, it's comparable to a MacBook. Starts at $12.99. The one I have in here. Oh, that's the other thing. Sorry, one more thing. They have better processors than the MacBook offers. I put the top-of-the-line mobile Skylake processor, the M7, in here. So very fast. NVMe SSD, just like the Apple, so a very fast SSD. This thing flies.
Yeah.
It feels good. It's a nice laptop.